Hey there, Natasha Tupper here from the Polished Perspective Publishing House. I am so excited to hop in your email box with this free 5-day email course. Okay, I'm super excited about that. Experience your business breakthrough by outlining your best-selling book in just 5 days. Yes. And so I wanted to make this concise, simple, quick, and also easy to do. So I'm going to take you on a journey and we are going to outline your book in 5 days. It's going to be done in the luxury of your home or your office or the coffee shop, wherever it is that you could get your best work done. And it's going to be done in 5 days, and it's not going to take up a whole lot of your time. I wanted to do this in your email box because I didn't want to tie you down to a Zoom meeting. I didn't want you to feel like you had to get dressed and made up and hop on a Zoom and cut your video on. I wanted you to have major impact in just a little bit of time. You cannot imagine how much one small win can do for you personally and in your business. So, about this course on how to outline your best-selling book in 5 days. It's only going to take 5 days. You're going to get a quick email every day, and you're going to get your homework assignment in a PDF every day, and everything will be accessible right through your email. So let's hop into this and let's talk about what it's going to be before we jump into week 1. All right, so our day one, 5 days. So our very first subject that we're going to broach for day 1 is going to be about what's the big idea. All right, before we jump into that, I just want to give you a quick overview of what the other days will look like. Okay, so number 1, what's the big idea? The second day is going to be about your spine tingling title. Okay, and day number 3 is going to be debut, debunk, and demystify. Those are the things that you're going to do in day 3, all right? And day 4 is going to be about impact and empower. And then finally, day 5 is going to be about your call to action. So let's jump into day 1 real quick. Day 1 is about what is the big idea? What's the big idea? And here's my thing. I personally assert that every female entrepreneur's big idea should be found in her best-selling book. I'm going to say that again. Every female entrepreneur's big idea should be found in her best-selling book. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is what's the big idea. And let me just give you a little spoiler alert, okay? Because sometimes your big idea is something that everyone probably already knows. Maybe half the folk already know. Maybe a quarter of the folk already know, right? So like you might not be the only one thinking and feeling this way. Sometimes it can seem so basic to where in your mind you don't see it as a big idea. Okay, but I'm here to tell you that if you are an entrepreneur, you have a big idea. And don't downplay your idea. Just because someone else might be thinking the same thing or saying the same thing or even implementing on the same thing, honey, they are not you. And that's the differentiation there. Your big idea is so good and so big and so bold because of the background that you bring to it. When I say that, I mean the story behind it, your story, right? That's what makes your big idea big, and that's what gets it into the hearts and minds of your readers. It's really about what you put into it, your back story, your story. All right, and we'll get into that later. So what's the big idea? I was speaking with a young woman who's an esthetician, and she's like, I do lashes for a living. Like, who can write a book about that? And I was just explaining to her that oftentimes it's really about your backstory just as much as it is about your expertise, right? And I know that sometimes as entrepreneurs and small business owners, sometimes we have a mindset thing going on to where sometimes we don't actually see ourselves as experts. But if you are good at what you do, if you've been doing it for a while, if you've done whatever testing and anything else, credentialing that goes along with it is that you do, you have a proven track record, honey, you are an expert, and you have to sell that you're the industry expert. That's what makes people want to buy from you, whatever the thing is. So I'm speaking to her, and she's an esthetician, and she's like, well, what would I write, a book about? Like, how could I even do that? And I was explaining to her how to use her life story and kind of transpose it on top of what it is that she does for a living. And so I was just joking with her, because we're just having a think tank and we're riffing and, we're in a zone. And I said something to her to the fact that, listen, I don't care if your book is something as simple as life is better with lashes. You start there and then you work in not only just your big idea about how important it is for women to practice self-care and look good and feel good, but then you bring in your backstory, your why, your how. How did you get to that point? And then you've got your big idea. So listen, ladies, do not downplay your idea, whatever it is. I'm an etiquette coach. And so my book essentially teaches women the life-changing power of polish, poise, and etiquette. Like, it's not something brand new. Like, I did not make that up. It's a proven fact, but I bring me to the table. And that is the differentiation, my backstory, my history, my why. And then I can bring that into my expertise, and then we have a whole thing going on there. So listen, the first thing I want you to do is think about your big idea. I want you to remember that it is big, that it is grand, and that it is world changing. And when you get that idea in your head, I want you to drop down and look at your PDF, click it open, and then get that homework assignment done for today. It is going to change the way you see your business and what it is that you do forever. All right, I cannot wait to see you for day 2.